Is it filming?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Welcome to the Dirty Dub Comedy Podcast with me, Terry Gargin, live, or not live, I say that every fucking week, man, that's like every week. Coming from the Dirty Dub Comedy Club. This week's episode 8, we've got Max Silver.
What's going on? How we doing, bro? Good?
That's it, yeah, good, man.
Yeah.
Looking buff there.
Trying.
You fucking tried harder than I am, I know that. How long have you been fucking pumping iron?
Like 20 years.
20 years?
Yeah,
really?
so I'm 37 now, so I've been training since I was like 17. And then the thing is, it's like, coming into comedy, my whole background was fitness and coaching and sort of bodybuilding and things like that. Okay. So like, I know that when I get up on stage, I look a little bit different than most comics.
Yeah.
And then I have to sort of play into that a little bit.
I used to be a bodybuilder, obviously. Yeah, I was obviously.
I was about to say, is it?
No, I did. Yeah, I used to be a bodybuilder. I was bodybuilding for about 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a few fucking issues with anabolic steroids, so I had to give it up.
Fair.
Obviously, my heart started to fucking give
way. Oh, really?
Yeah,
you fucking juiced too much.
Got sleep apnea and fucking all sorts. And
go big or go home.
Got a little bit heavy, but I was quite big when I started comedy, and yeah, I used to find that it's a little bit intimidating on stage.
It can be, yeah.
Especially when most comedians all look like they've got some sort of like muscle wasting disease.
Yeah, they're not the healthiest of bunch. It's quite funny though, because like a lot of comics like I'll follow, now they're in their sort of late 30s, 40s, 50s. They've all gone on this like fitness journey, this like health kick.
Yeah, but it's not yoga or fucking Pilates.
Yeah,
isn't it?
True, but it's because I've built all these habits and sort of set foundations and stuff before I got into comedy. So it was like going into it was quite easy in the sense of I didn't have to adjust too much with my own lifestyle. Whereas I feel like if you're doing this and then you want to try and make a change, it can be difficult because it's late nights. Obviously, people might have a few drinks, obviously smoking, all that kind of shit. I mean, I smoke myself, but it's like unless you've got those kind of habits in place and then you try and do comedy, it can be quite hard to juggle it all.
Definitely, yeah.
Like it can, especially if you haven't done it before. Whereas me, it's just like, oh, I'm used to. As long as I get my 7 to 8 hours. I know this is so fucking boring, but it's like 7 to 8 hours and shit, and then like eating properly and all that kind of stuff, and then it does have an impact. Whereas, but for me, I'm in a position where, in the nicest possible, I don't care what other people do. I don't care about their lifestyle. You do what makes you happy until it doesn't. And I think if that involves some sort of fitness or health regime, great. But I've never been preachy, and even like I used to run a coaching business, but I never used to. Sort of, I would give clients advice and help them and all the rest of it, but ideally, if they didn't want to do it, I'd be like, well, you're not going to benefit from it, so there's just no point.
Yeah, you wasn't one of them pushy, like.
No, because I just didn't see the point. Because it's like we're all adults at the end of the day, and it's like, if you want to make a change in anything you do, you have to make that change yourself. Yeah. I can give you the information, I can give you all the tools, but unless you're willing to sort of make that change, then what's the point?
Yeah, because some fitness coaches like David Goggins, aren't they?
Yeah, they go a bit. It's all extreme. It's just like this ultra like masculine energy and all that. I'm just like, it's just too much. It's like you work in a fucking call center. You're an estate agent. Like, relax.
Yeah, you're not
like,
in a fucking SAS.
No, you don't need to be following this mad regime. You just need to be a bit healthier. Maybe cut back on your cocaine consumption at the weekend. Stop boozing during the week, and you might actually find that that's going to benefit your lifestyle rather than I'm going to fucking jump in a cold bath. I'm going to only take cold showers. It's just like, oh, shut up. Just shut up.
That's it. Who's going to carry the boats?
Who's going to carry the boats? Nobody.
That's it. So what do you do now then for a living?
So I just got a new. So I work in sales. I work in tech sales. So I got a new job. When I was in comedy, when I started comedy, I had this job where I was a bit on autopilot. So I could just do my comedy and then I could do my job, but I didn't have to think about my job. Whereas in the last kind of 6 weeks, I've had this new job, and it's just a lot of fucking learning. So like my gigs and my stand up has kind of suffered. And my energy levels on stage the last kind of few gigs haven't been the greatest because I've been mentally exhausted. But yeah, so that will be fine once everything kind of settles. But yeah, for the time being, it's just been a bit screwed. But so I work in salon tech sales.
Salon?
So like hairdressers and stuff. So
I have tech?
Yeah. So my company provides the software. Like a booking platform. They do like the card readers, all that kind of stuff. My company, the company I work for, they provide all the software.
We've got a lot of barbershops around here. I don't think they quite
No.
do their tax returns properly.
No.
I think a lot of their fucking money goes through cocaine sales. And stuff like that.
Yeah, they do. You know, it's pretty decent. You know, you get a bump and a blow dry, so it's not too bad.
Yeah. Well, not so much a blow dry around here. Turkish barbers. You might get a wet towel or a hot towel. Or whatever it is. So, how long have you been doing comedy for then?
Just under 18 months.
18 months.
Yeah, so still quite fresh.
Still quite fresh. You doing well, don't you?
I'm doing alright. Like it's progressed a lot. Like I've got quite an obsessive like personality. So when I get into something, I really get into it. And I've always wanted to do comedy. I've always written stuff, but I never performed it. And I did a course, and the course just helped me write out a formula and actually how to speak to people in the industry, like who to contact for gigs and where to gig and how to gig and kind of how to get into the world.
Yeah.
Because
I think the networking is more the problem at the time, isn't it? Yeah,
it can be, because people's perception of comedy is just like Live at the Apollo, a special on Netflix, or like the Comedy Store. And when I said to people like I'm going to do comedy, they're like, are you going to be at the Comedy Store? I'm like, yeah, that's basically how it works. I just call up Comedy Store and be like, listen, can I
got
get
a really good joke?
Yeah, can I get a 20? So yeah, it's been learning that, but for the first year I battered it in terms of going out, doing everything that I needed to do my 5s, building up to 7s. Now I'm doing like 10s and 15s, doing paid stuff as well. But I've kind of fallen into a little bit of a trap maybe with being too comfortable, in that the material that I've got, I've been kind of using it a lot, which is good. But equally, I'm a bit like, I want to try out new stuff and then break that safety net and not rely on the stuff that I know that works.
I think the thing, because everyone has that perception that comedians go on stage and they do a different set every time. People that don't do comedy.
Yeah.
And like when you see Mickey Flanagan and that, he was perfecting that hour for 10 years.
Yeah,
it wasn't. Do you know? And the way I've done it, not that I'm fucking trying to give you advice, but the way I've done it is you sort of get your 5 that's perfect and polished.
Yeah.
And then you expand it into a 10 or a 7.
Yeah.
And then you keep expanding that until you've got a 20. And then you sort of put that to bed and then work on a new 20 and it's over there. And then in the end, you combine the whole hour together.
Yeah.
But it takes a fucking long time.
Yeah.
And the hard thing is you're stuck at that middle ground at the minute where the 15s and the 20s and the like the 10s, even the 10s aren't too bad, but most gigs are 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you get to the stage where you progress past the 5 minute stage and you're sort of stuck because there's not enough 10-15 minute spots going, so you still want to practice and do the 5s, but 5 just don't seem
and even
worth
now
it anymore.
And it's bad because everyone gets complacent in certain things, and everyone, to a degree, in anything they do, once you've had a level of success, we all think I'm too good to go back to that, what it is. But sometimes we forget that it was that helped us get to where we need to be, i.e., in order for you to get a great 20 or a great 10, you had to go and do that 5 for fucking ages to go and perfect it. So unless someone's going to trust you and go, right, you can come on and do 15 minutes of brand new stuff, which is very, very rare, sometimes you just have to swallow it and go, well, I just have to go and do this 5 and practice it and then just get on with it. Like a lot of the gigs that I was doing last year, I haven't done this year, because sometimes like you kind of get into, as I say, you know, a lot of the comics that we mainly gig with, or especially the ones that are based in London, they're young, they might live locally, some of them don't work, they don't have that many responsibilities, so they can afford to go in and do that, whatever. Me, I live in Hertfordshire, so it's like for me to travel in, it's going to cost. Then it's like, okay, I got to do that. Then I'm like, it's just comics, and then I don't know if this material is actually going to work or not, because no one's going to give me any feedback, because comics, when it's just comics, just fucking sit there and just stare you out, and you're like,
yeah, they don't want to laugh at
they don't give you anything. No,
especially
the young ones, they just kind of stare at you. The older ones are a bit more receptive, but
I don't know if it's because they've been to so many fucking comedy shows that they are just fucking sick of it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Or it is an ego thing and they don't want to laugh because they've got to get up next, and it'll be like, oh, he might be funnier than me.
But again, I think that's just a shit mentality to have. I just think if something's funny, just laugh. If something's not funny, don't.
Yeah.
But people don't. But it's like, even when you're in the crowd, let's say if you're gigging as well, like 3-4 nights a week, you're just sitting there, and if you're not on until a certain time and you're fucked from the day, that has a huge impact. I think there are certain nights in London where there are certainly certain nights on the scene, I don't think they need as many comics on there.
Yeah.
I think first of all, you get audience fatigue, then you just get general fatigue. And if you're sitting there at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and you're knackered anyway, and then you've got to then laugh more, and you've already seen 10 other comics, I just think it's pointless.
I do think sometimes some of the gigs I've done where they've got like 10 acts on, unless you're opening or you're going in at an earlier stage, then by the time it gets to act 7 and they've probably seen 3 really bad acts that have bombed, the crowd are sort of like either on their phones or they're talking amongst themselves, or they're just not engaging. They just don't want to listen to it. So.
Not at all. And then you're just like, well, I'm fucked anyway. I'm tired. Like, I did a night recently where I was sort of second from last, and the crowd were just pretty dead throughout. It wasn't the greatest of nights, like, if I'm being honest, from a comedian perspective, but by the time I got up, I was just like, oh, I'll give this a go, see if I can save it or whatever. And then the first 2 jokes didn't really land, and then at that point I was like, okay, my adrenaline from the initial excitement just completely went, and I was like, oh, I've just got 8 minutes to just...
You are only as good as your first 2 minutes, aren't you? I think
because the thing is, I tried it, and it just got like a little ha-ha, and then it just... Or sometimes when the laughter doesn't last as long as it has done previously, and it's like laugh, right, next joke, and you just think, fuck, that, I need to now... slow that set down, because before that laughter or that applause break in that part got me an extra 5 or 6 seconds, whereas now it was so instant. It was like on to the next bit, and sometimes it doesn't feel natural, and if the audience sometimes aren't giving you stuff, and the thing is, I can understand from their perspective. Again, they've had a few drinks, maybe taken a few things or whatever, that initial spike of adrenaline and excitement, we're at a fucking comedy show Friday, let's go. If they have not laughed throughout the night, that come down hits hard. Yeah,
definitely.
And you're then looking at these people like they just want to go, and especially if the night's going long, that you're like, these people want to go home. They don't need more comedy, because they're over it. They're completely over it.
I think a lot of people feel intimidated to leave as well, don't they? They don't want to be the one that gets up and goes.
Yeah, well, especially also if it's a paid audience, depending on where they're sitting. I mean, you've got to have a big set of bollocks on you if you're within the first 2 rows and you just get up and go, this ain't for me.
This is shit.
This is shit. And they leave. You think, I'm going, do you know what? Fair play.
Yeah, I'm pretty much like, oop, they're up and going.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, I'm enjoying comedy at the moment. As I say, I'm trying to now come out of this kind of comfort zone, sit down, write, explore new premises, change up maybe my persona and stuff or whatever, but have some fun with it and not try and fall into the trap of I'm gonna go and do the same stuff. But I do gig a lot around the country. Like I Tuesday I'm in Nottingham, Friday or whenever, then a few days later I'll drive up to Stockton-on-Tees, and then I've done gigs in Derby, done gigs in Eggs. I trek everywhere, but it's like, for me, it's like, and again, I'm not really getting paid for a lot of this stuff. So if it's within 2 hours, I'll go there and come back. Anything over 2.5, I will stay.
There's not a lot of money in comedy anyway, so
no.
To be fair. To be a pro, you've really got, I mean, I've had like top acts down here and paid them 200 quid. And to be fair, I wouldn't fucking get out of bed in the morning for 200 quid a day.
That's fair.
It's and I'm talking about acts that have been on telly and been on. So it's not like, I'm not going to name any of them, but there's not a lot. Anyone that thinks you're going to become a millionaire in comedy, unless you become the next fucking, like I say, Mickey Flanagan or Peter Kay, which is, and to be fair, the British comedy scene's fucking pretty dead at the minute anyway.
Yeah, I think that there's this sort of, there's an influx of people who do a lot of things online, and sometimes people assume, or promoters assume, that then person can then go on and actually do performances on the stage. And I think, and they don't realise the two don't really translate. There's a few that do it very well, but then when you learn the background of them, they've got all these years of stand-up behind them. Then they went online, so they've actually got that to fall back on. Whereas someone who does a few things online, and then all of a sudden gets booked to do these big gigs, and they're fucking terrible. Or the audience are expecting a certain thing of their online and stuff. But yeah, like, for me personally, I obviously want to make this my thing at some point. I'm not that deluded to think it's going to happen anytime in the next.
I think you just got to be prepared to know that it's going to be a struggle. And
of course,
make a lot of money.
I think, for me, am I going to be expecting to earn millions out of this? Probably not. If it can at some point cover my outgoings, and I can then leverage my job to then like start saving properly, then fucking happy days.
Yeah, I think as a comedian you probably have good months, but I don't think you're going to be earning like thousands every week.
No.
Unless you become really big. Most of them, like you said as well, has got an internet presence now. If you haven't got a good internet presence, then I think that's where the money's made nowadays.
Yeah, because I see comics or online entertainers, and they will then all of a sudden start doing brand deals. They'll then produce a video with their kind of shtick, but using a brand, whether it be a body brand or an electrical brand or something like that. So they'll get brand deals. So yeah, and then I think that's definitely the future. But again, that's another commitment. That's more. You know, people have got to sit. You've got to sit down and write these sketches and be consistent with your presence, and then continually post and all the rest of it. And that's also time consuming. It's like at some point something's got to give.
Yeah.
You can't do, like, for me, as I say, like when it comes back to the gym and stuff, I've been gymming for all these years, so it's part of my thing. So that's my dedication for that. Then obviously I work, and then I do other things outside of that, and then I do comedy. I don't have kids or anything like that. How the fuck people do it with kids and everything else, and you know,
bring them with you. That's what I do.
But it's like your time can only be used so much. You can only do so much.
Yeah.
You know, and again, if you haven't, which is when they say, oh, it's a young man's game to an extent, but I think it's just because they don't maybe have as much going on, so they can actually focus on that side of things.
Yeah, I'll get you. Yeah, no, it can be a struggle. And like I say, especially when you're driving miles, just a bomb. That's the worst thing. I tried the internet presence thing. Like I've done a few. I've got some pretty.
I saw them. They were quite funny.
Yeah, I think it's quite.
No, they were quite funny. The dad in the park. I remember the dad in the park thing, and there was a few things based around that.
State dad. Yeah.
Council estate dad. Yeah, they were funny.
But do you know what I found is they all seem to be doing the same thing, because I'd done the Council Estate Dad one, and then another TikTok had basically just ripped my one off straight away.
They do it.
And it was a bit like, oh, we're all just doing the same thing. And if you're not, you know, I think unless you've got your own audience, then you're always going to be the first one to it. Not that you was the first one to do that video.
Yeah.
But you'll be the first one to go viral with it because you've already got the audience there.
Yeah, but I agree. But the thing is, with the online thing, you've just got to be consistent with it. I think what people...
You've got to do it every day. You've got to upload it every day.
Every day or every other day. And, you know, you've got to have a bank of things to go. Again, if you're not using someone to edit that video, that's time consuming for you. You know, I've done my own sketches and I've done stuff like that in the past. When I had the time to do it, I would do my own editing, but that can fucking take forever.
Yeah, editing is a problem, and it's not only that as well. You've got to have someone to fucking film you or something. Like, it's a bit hard walking around with a selfie stick everywhere you go, isn't it?
Yeah, like it's weird. Like I can gig in front of people, but because I talk quite a lot to my phone anyway for like stories and shit. But if there's a singular person within like a fucking 10-meter radius, I cannot do it. No. I feel like such a gimp. And yet some people don't give a shit.
Well, when we was doing the Council Estate Dad ones, me and him was going over, he was filming me, and we was going over the park at like 8 o'clock in the morning because we knew no one would be there. We was just going somewhere, he's going, Dad, my mates are going to see me there. Shut up, just fucking film it.
That's dedication. Fair play. But yeah, it's true though, because then it's so embarrassing. Even if I'm doing a story, I'm just like, this is so embarrassing. For someone to hear that, but then they don't give a shit, and they're not actually thinking. It's me thinking about them, but no one actually cares. Like, this is what's quite funny about, I think, England or people or just people in general. We think that people are watching and caring, but what they do is they look at us for about 3 seconds, less than, make a quick judgment, and then get back to their own day.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I think we think that they're then gonna just.
Oh my god, he's gonna be thinking about that all day. He's gonna be slagging me off everyone at work.
But then again, who gives a fuck? Because you're never gonna see this person.
No, and to be fair, we stand up on stage and make a tit of ourselves most of the time in front of real people.
Actual people.
They're actually there to actually watch comedy.
To judge us, yeah.
Not like that old geezer the other night who was pretty much dead.
I think, rumour has it he's still there.
I don't know what he's... but we done a gig the other night, I'll just fill you in a like little country pub, I suppose, in a place called Great Wakering. Anyone from Great Wakering, give me 6, they're all a bit inbred down there. And there was a guy just sat slap bang in the middle as well, wasn't he? He weren't even like to the side. And he must have been, I'd say, what, early 80s?
No, he was 91.
Oh, he's 91.
He was 91.
91, and I honestly was going to go and check his pulse at one point because I thought he might have been fucking dead. But he was like a massive put off, weren't he?
It was so off because he was just staring like this.
Yeah, and everyone around was sort of laughing. Well, there was when I was on, but anyway, everyone around was laughing,
no more.
And he was just sort of like
just stuck there.
Yeah, with a judgmental face.
Yeah, but I think that was just his resting face. But yeah, again, because it was straight in your eye line, it was just it was really off-putting. You could only gravitate towards that.
Do you think that the promoter was just like, oh, we'll get anyone in here, and he was just sitting in a corner somewhere, and he's like, do you want to see some comedy? Like, wheeled him in, and he couldn't actually move.
Like Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, and he's just like there. He's just like, oh, wait. An audience member's an audience member. We'll get him in.
Yeah.
But the rest of the crowd was pretty
They were all right, yeah.
That guy was bigger than you, wasn't
He was massive.
Yeah,
he was
a unit.
so. Again, when I go to gigs and when I'm like performing, usually I'm not trying to sound like a prick or anything, but I'll be quite a bigger presence or muscular presence within the room. Okay, usually, right? This guy out-muscled me he was about 4 times the size.
Yeah,
he was fucking huge. And but really nice, just down to
yeah, he was cool. I was
really,
yeah,
I know you were, and he was. His missus were loving it. A really nice guy. But I've got this opening bit, and then I had to address it and just be like, usually that works, but everyone has seen the fucking unit sitting there, so the rest of this isn't going to go well. And it didn't, because I will do a lot of self-deprecating stuff.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh, yeah, I bet it's well self-deprecating.
No,
fucking pecs like that.
No, because it's like, it's okay. We know when we go on stage, people will make a judgment of us immediately. And I know for a fact people will judge me immediately, right? Why is this muscular guy, why is he going to try and make me laugh? Or he's already looking like that, he's always going to be funny as well. So people have their backup. My job is to disarm that, which is why I say I look like Rylan on steroids. Or
Freddie Mercury as well.
Fuck off. And then before, when I used to wear glasses, because I had my eyes done, when I wore glasses, it was, oh look, Harry Potter, oh look, it's Harry Potter if he jumped on steroids. Something like that disarms them. Then I go into a bit about being insecure about the way I look because of how I was treated, which is usually the case with men. When you're younger, by girls, not being able to get with girls, you're the funny one, but no one really wants to be in the friend zone. So it's kind of this little journey. And then that first joke is like, right, I'm taking the piss out of myself because of the way I look. Now we can continue with the bit. As opposed to not addressing it and then just fucking being really arrogant with it. But I am going to try and mix stuff up now to make the most out of some of the gigs, which is when I said at the start about getting too comfortable and I'm getting bored of my own stuff. It's just like, I've got an opportunity to perform and to do something different. I've now got to be selfish and be like, I'm not going to... The booker of Live at the Apollo is not in this room. After this set, no one's ever going to remember this. I'm here. I may as well make the most of it. Let me try some stuff. Let me make a tit out of myself. Let me see where this goes. What's the worst that's going to happen? They're just going to ignore me on the way out? Okay, cool. So that's what I've got to get over my own ego.
You might hear him slagging you off on the way out. That hurts.
No, I tell you what hurts. Okay, that hurts. I tell you what hurts even more. This hurts so much. You've bombed. Other comic has killed it. Audience member walks past, shakes their hand
exactly
to say, mate, great set. That was wicked. And they just look at you and you just go, yeah.
No, they go, you was all right as well. That's the best. We was at a gig the other night, and Danny Andrews, Danny won't mind me telling this, it's actually quite funny, but the geezer, as he was leaving, the guy at the bar was like, oh yeah, well done mate, nice one. And literally, as he went to turn and walk away, he said to his mate, he was fucking shit.
Within the same breath?
No, not in the same breath. I think he'd thought Danny had walked away. And he's sort of like, yeah, but Danny's actually wicked. He's a wicked comedian, but yeah, it was just it was just so funny. I've seen that loads of times. Mate, that was wicked. Yeah, you was alright as well.
Yeah, he just like, I'm just gonna go fuck. And you're always like the invisible man. You just don't fucking, you're just sitting there like an absolute plum. But again, I think it doesn't actually matter. I've gone to gigs before where people will be like, oh, that was wicked, that was great. And then, you kind of buzz off it and you feel good. But then you get back in your car, you drive home, you get home, and it's like, okay, back to reality.
Yeah, bombing doesn't hit quite as hard when you've been doing it a while, does it? Because I think we've all, and the more you do it, the more you see really good comedians that you sort of respect and look up to. When you see they bomb, and it's sort of like, well, it just wasn't my night.
Well, yeah, I think when I've seen other comics that I respect, even not big ones, but ones that we see on our gigs, and they don't do as great, it then just brings it back to, okay, all comics are the same. And I met a really good comic, really big comic recently, and we were talking and stuff. And I obviously was like, oh, how is this person? Because he's quite big. And I was like, oh, how's this comic and how's that comic? And he was just like, these comics, they're all great people. He said, but comics are just people. He said, this is one of these industries where everyone has actually had to go through the same process in order to get where they are. They just got their break at different times. And I thought that was really well put, because it's like, even when a massive comic does their show, it's then going back to zero, and it's then going back to, okay, now I have to try new stuff. Now that has to just bomb. And I saw James Acaster at the start earlier this year, and he was doing a work in progress. He did 45 minutes, I think. Only maybe 15 or 20 minutes worth was actually decent, and the rest. Yeah. But people were still laughing, but I think they were laughing because it was James Acaster. Yeah. Whereas if it was you and I doing the same material, it wouldn't have been.
I saw Jimmy Carr on Joe Rogan, and he said exactly the same. He said that the bigger you become, the harder it becomes, because people tend to laugh just because it's Jimmy Carr on stage, rather than. And he said it's so hard to gauge whether your material's actually doing well or whether it is just.
I agree, and I saw, who was it? I've seen people on Netflix as well do their specials, and I'm sitting there and I want to laugh. I'm like, this is fucking dog shit. Yeah. And I'm like, you're only laughing because A, you know it's a Netflix special, so you want to maybe, that was me laughing in the front row, or B, because it's this particular comic that you like. And I'm watching it and I'm trying to understand. I get the premises, they're great premises, but I'm like, it's just not funny. But they're getting mad laughs because
I think they might use a lot of canned laughter on Netflix.
It wouldn't surprise me, because some of it I'm just like, this is awful.
I think they back it up a little bit with that. I've actually seen people on like Instagram and things like that, and they've put bits of their setup, and you can tell that they've put a laughter track to it. You're like, so that laugh was exactly the same a minute ago. Like,
you notice it's the same. Yeah, it's the same tone. It's the same shitty laughter track. But yeah, I think this comedy scene is fucking mental. When I got into it, didn't realise how many people were doing it. Because initially it was like, oh my god, because when I first started saying to my mates, I'm going to do comedy, first thing out their mouths were, you do realise you have to stay up past 8:30. Because for me, I'd go to bed between 8:30 and 9, and I'd get up at 4:45, and I'd be in the gym at 6, and that was my life for like 10 years, right, the last 10 years. And I was like, well, if I'm going to fucking make this change and actually do it, I need to become this other person and then fit all this stuff around. And it's worked out fine, and it's no drama. But I didn't really. They're all like, it's really brave you doing this. You don't realise how many comics are fucking performing. Like, if you think about it, you do a night, but there might be 7 or 8 other comedy nights going on at the same time. They might have another 10 acts. So at any given time on the open mic circuit, let's say on a random Thursday, there could be up to 100 people more doing 5 or 10 minutes. You don't realise how many. And when you go to like these random gaffes across the UK, and there's all these comics that you don't know because obviously they're not from your area, you're like, it's not just here, there's another bunch of comics as well doing this in another part of the country. So there's a lot of comics.
I didn't even really think about it, to be fair. I didn't really understand how it worked, and I never even knew there was comedy gigs going on. Like, it's sort of like, I didn't really understand how it worked, and then I started, and I was like, there's loads of like little gigs everywhere.
Yeah, random places.
Go. And then you tend to see the same people over and over again at different gigs.
And that's the other thing in this scene. There'll be certain comics that you'll gravitate towards where you're like, cool, I know you, I can have a chat, I can have a drink if I catch up with you. There's other comics where you'll see and you'll be like, you're right, yeah, you, and then you know you're not going to talk to them. And then there's other ones where you just have the classic conversation. Been busy? Yeah. What one you done? Okay. What you got coming up? Okay. Cool. You have a good set tonight, and it's basically those 3 questions where you're just being nice. Because the thing is, if someone's a dick, you're just like, well, I'm not going to speak to that person. And especially if some people with a lot of that, say their act, and they'll talk about certain things on stage that I may or may not necessarily agree with. But I'm just like, okay, cool. I just don't necessarily have to.
I'll tell you what, while we're on the fucking subject of that,
Okay.
I've seen this a couple of times, and I don't condone racism, I don't condone any sort of fucking bullying or like offending other people, but there's been a lot of comedians lately jumping on other people's. I don't know if you've seen it. There was a guy that I think might have said something a little bit racist on stage or something, and then another comedian decided to post a big fucking post.
This happened like last week. There's no point going into the details, but what do I think of that? I think that if you've said stuff on stage to offend people that isn't funny, and someone brings you up on it, take it. Just take the L and just be.
Take it. But
then I think it depends how far it's gone. My thing is, I don't care how. This is me personally. I don't care how racist it is, how misogynist it is, how whatever it is. Just be funny. And if it's a funny joke and people can get on board with it and they laugh, great. But if it's just offensive and it's just not, and it's cruel and it's really punching down, and you're just like, no, you're just being a dick on stage. Like, there's a lot of things going around at the moment with all, the left, the right, whatever, this party, that, whatever, right?
Everyone's looking to be offended, isn't they?
But I think primarily just be funny. Don't be cheap funny. Don't be like, the whole... I don't know, the offensive cheap joke funny, or just being out and out race. Obviously, look, fucking racism is terrible in all sorts, but if you're going to go on stage and do that, if it's well written and it's constructed in a way where you're like, that's clever, that's funny, you're like, okay, cool. That person may or may not think what they think, that's just their act. But if it's just downright being a dick on stage just for a reaction, that can go away. But
would you then write a big Facebook post about it?
No, because what happens, I don't give a shit about anything.
No.
What I do, if this is it, right? If I watch something and I hate it, I do this.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I do.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's what I feel too. Like, because, like I say, there's something happened recently, and a guy said something a bit racist on stage. Apparently, that was the what's the word? Impression that someone's given. One person that was at his gig that felt that he had to be a spokesman on it, and then a fucking shit bunch load of other comedians decided to, oh yeah, what a cunt, he's this, he's that, yeah, this is that. None of them was there. None of them saw the premises of the joke. None of them was there to defend the other guy or...
But I think what it is with the other guy in question, because he's been going a very short amount of time...
Then give him a fucking break, man. Do you know what I mean? Maybe someone should have pulled him to the side and said, mate, I wouldn't do that again.
But I think that's what's happened. That's what happened a couple of times. This guy's been actually spoken to about
So he has actually been spoken to a few times.
And the thing is, this person who wrote the post on Facebook spoke to that person at the gig. And then the comic in question then started to do his thing online and stuff, and then obviously the two kind of got into it, and then it went round a few groups or whatever. But it was quite funny because I'm just sitting there just going, lads, no one cares.
No one cares.
No one.
There's 400 people in this group. They're all fucking comedians. Half of them care, the other half don't.
Yeah, I like to look at that stuff from like afar and just be like, oh, okay, fair enough then. But with a lot of things, even in like general day to day, what's going on in the news, whatever, I have an opinion, I have a thought, I think for myself, I cannot be asked to express it.
Oh, definitely.
Because all that happens is someone's then going to vehemently agree with me or disagree with me, and then we're going to go off, and I just think, what's the point? Like, there's too many people who want to involve themselves in things that they don't know enough about, but because they want to be seen as part of it, oh, we're part of this tribe, or we're part of that, oh, you think that way, I think that way. I don't give a fuck. If you're a good person, you're a good person. If you're a shit person, you're a shit person, and I don't have to have anything to do with you, whether it be in comedy or out of comedy. And I think what happens is a lot of the online world and just in general, I'm just like, why do people care so much? Because people care so much about shit that doesn't really matter. The only thing that kind of matters is what's going on with you and your little circle and whatnot. But people are so fucking like, oh, I want to be seen as a good person. No, you don't. No one cares. Just get on with your own life. Focus on the shit that actually matters within your circle, because otherwise you're just going to do worse for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think as well that calling someone out on a group on Facebook, I think that then gives everyone a bit of a bad look of you as well. Then, because some people are like, "Fuck, haven't him on our gig, mate." If he's going to fucking call someone out.
Yeah. I think, but I think it depends on what happened. Again, what happened?
I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I just saw the backlash.
Yeah, well, this is it. But then you form an opinion of what's gone on the backlash. I think if the two of them,
I didn't form an opinion of it. My opinion was right. Half of these people wasn't there.
Yeah,
and the guys basically give his point of view of what he thought he saw or how he felt, right? And everyone else decides to fucking jump on the bandwagon, call the geezer a cunt when they wasn't even there or heard what he said.
Yeah.
And like you said as well, it's just fucking get on with your day, man.
Just get on with it.
All right, pull the geezer at the gig, say, mate, you shouldn't have said that. It's order, and then fucking move on. Because I'm sure that if he hadn't have, all right, I'm sure this guy's been pulled at the gig, and maybe the first time you get told that joke's a little bit offensive, this, that, and the other, you might walk away with your ego a bit fucking burnt, thinking, fucking, what does he know? I'll just do me.
Yeah.
And then you might do it again and then get pulled again, and it might take a couple of times for it all to sink in and for you to actually change your way of thought or change that bit or go, oh, actually, maybe he's right. That's like the third person that's told me that now. Rather than jump straight to put a fucking 9-page paragraph onto some fucking stupid Facebook group, and then everyone to jump on the backlash, and then to keep on going on about it.
Yeah, I just don't think it's that. It's just not that important.
No,
unless this person is gonna like turn like, I don't know, unless he's a fucking piece of shit and he's got all this horrible background and all the rest of it, like just whatever, just whatever.
Yeah, just whatever it all.
Just get on with it.
Are you online a lot? Do you look at a lot of stuff? Are you on TikTok and things like
that?
I'm
not on TikTok. I think that's just an energy sucking platform, mentally draining. However, I know that if I post more sketches or if I post more, I need to be on there.
Yeah, TikTok's the one.
I do a lot of stuff on Instagram. I'm very active with my own followers, and I'll post stuff daily on my stories, as I say. My sketches and stuff, they're going to come back in the new year, because I had a few characters that I used to write. I used to have this office gym guy who was basically like a piss taker.
Yeah,
like
I saw it. He was really good at it.
Yeah, and then I had a shadow boxer as well, because in every gym, for some reason, men like to shadow box for no fucking... Who are they fighting? Like, these kind of people. So I was doing this kind of stuff like that, and then I kind of stopped it, but now I'm going to, as I say, I want to start that back up. But I know it's a necessary evil. I think from a consumption perspective, it's fucking hard to sometimes get out of that reel, and it's really difficult now where it's affecting things where I'll try and watch TV, and all of a sudden, for no reason, I'll get a just check, just have a look at. Nothing's happened, but it's almost like a trigger to then look.
It's in your head, isn't it?
It is, but then I think reels are great, but sometimes they can just be a bit too addictive.
Well, Reels is just basically another TikTok.
TikTok, yeah. But it just seems to be a bit more mature. I think TikTok, friends that have been on TikTok, people that post on TikTok, there's no what's the word? Barrier to entry for comments, in the sense no one gives a fuck. People will write some of the most offensive shit in the comments, and I don't know because again, if I post something and I look at the comments, there'll probably be like, I don't know, a few decent comments, and then I'll be like, "You're not funny. You're not even fucking muscly. You're a cunt."
Yeah, I don't know why people feel
you're
the
fucking
need
shit, and I'm just like, oh, that's not very.
Let's put something positive.
Yeah,
why bother?
I'll read that, and that will just. I'll be like, oh, that's really.
I think he's probably just some big fat geezer sitting indoors. Probably ain't got a job, just sitting there. Like, he's like, I know. A lot of it's probably jealousy. But.
It is. Well, people. That's the thing. It's just like That's why when I was saying before about people leaving like comments and stuff like, there's stuff that I watch. I'm just like, oh, I don't agree with it. I just flick off of it.
I didn't really get many negative comments, to be fair. I didn't get many comments. I didn't get many negative ones. But there's a lot of people on TikTok now that do things just to antagonise people.
Of course they do.
I don't know if you've seen these auditors.
Yeah, there's a guy that does the HMRC podcast where where he does footballers' interviews.
Right.
And he basically pulls footballers go on these podcasts and they'll say these stories, and this guy will investigate whether that footballer's been telling the truth.
Oh, okay.
So there'll be like, I don't know, Paul Scholes will say that he had a game with Wayne Rooney and Ronaldo was there whatever year, whatever game it was. And obviously because the footballers kind of like mesh these dates together and it's not quite right, he will then go and do the research and he goes, well, Ronaldo was already sold to Real Madrid.
But you've got to think that Paul Scholes probably played about fucking 1,000 games in his career.
Not everything.
He's not going to remember every
Yeah.
fucking like detail perfectly.
But it's quite funny.
He's gonna fuck up at some point.
Yeah, because it's quite funny because this guy will then go and do the actual research. It's
sad.
it is, but it's also really entertaining.
There's these auditors that basically just go around with a camera and just start filming different businesses to try and rile them up. And if they know all these, some of them have got drones. I don't know if you've ever seen a guy called fucking DJ Audits or anyone. Look them up, man. It's comical. But because there's such a fine line with the law about what you can do and what you can't do, filming in public now, obviously you're allowed to do. Wherever you want, you can film whatever you want as long as it's whatever you can see with your own eyes, you can film basically. So what these auditors and shit tend to do is go to different businesses and just basically film them until they get a reaction. And obviously there's another thing as well with trespassing. Trespassing isn't actually a criminal offence.
Right.
It's a civil offence.
Right.
So you've got these auditors just walking onto private property, filming shit.
But I just
to get a fucking reaction.
But that's just. I personally think that's just. It's for entertainment perspective. Okay, that could be funny. But it comes like, you're a cunt. Like, what are you? Why are you doing this?
The thing is, they get fucking hundreds of thousands of followers.
Yeah.
Every single one of them negative. Every single one of these people following them and watching them are just going, "You're a cunt."
But do you know what? They've then cracked it because then off the back of that, who knows what else they're making because of this shit. Because it's so what it is. Because it's so terrible and it's so extreme and it's so shit. People are going to watch it, and that's the thing with online content. It's got to be so fucking good people can't take their eyes off of it, or it's got to be so fucking polarizing and shit that people can't take their eyes off of it. If
right.
It's in the middle, there's too much of the content that you're competing for, which is obviously unfortunate because sometimes when we post things, we've put our heart and soul into this thing, and 7 people will watch it. 2 of them are your cousin, and like fucking you'll get 1 like, and you go, well, that was a complete fucking waste of time. But that's where you just have to keep going with it. So yeah, with content, you have to be amazing or shit. That's it.
I think we've all we're in this country, we've always been sort of obsessed with stuff like that. Obviously, like X Factor and like the first rounds are always the best. A lot of people only watched X Factor up until the.
I did.
There was it. So that was it. They weren't interested.
We just wanted to see the nutters.
Just want to see the weirdos.
That was it. But that was amazing for that time because you would watch it and you would just get the most deluded fucking people ever. And at the time, you don't realise actually it's a TV show. And they've been exploited, which is awful for viewing pleasure. And it was all constructed, it was all done on purpose, it was all done for us, the viewer. And these people were just so good. But it was amazing to watch. And that doesn't happen now because even now, even when they do the auditions for like Britain's Got Talent, they're not in some room. They're on the audit. They're already on the stage. They're already on that stage, and they've already been okay. You don't really see that many disasters anymore. You might see a few shit acts that don't go through, but there's no real like, oh, I'm Cheryl Lloyd, I'm gonna sing Cheryl. Like, there's none of that kind of stuff. There's no Chicken Man.
No,
remember
not,
Chicken Man?
No.
Remember Barbie Girl when he sang?
I see you was on Britain's Got Talent. Curtis Eaton.
Yeah.
Curtis Eaton was on Britain's Got Talent.
Really?
Yeah, he's a classical pianist, isn't he? We had him on here. He told us all about it. Yeah, he's got like an IQ of 180 and fucking. He's the youngest ever kid in the world to get a full music scholarship, and he was a fucking figure skater as well, world champion figure skater as well. And you'd never think it to look.
No, you know what I mean.
Great guy, Curtis.
Yeah, but you don't get these lunatics that go on there anymore. And you know the ones that used to then kick off backstage to Dermot, and it used to be the funniest shit you've ever seen.
Some of them used to kick off on stage, didn't
they?
Especially had Sharon Osbourne before she turned into fucking whatever she's now.
Some melted fucking wax candle.
I reckon we should have a sweepstake on when she's going to die now. Ozzy's coming.
It won't be long. She'll just melt. If she was outside today, she would get blown over.
Kelly looks like she's going to melt. What happened to her?
I don't know. They get on these. I don't know if it's the Ozempic or the Manjaro, and then they just fucking.
What do you think about Ozempic? Does it work?
I don't. Well, clearly it works. This is my thing, and this is what I think about that kind of stuff. If you take it and you don't change your lifestyle, at some point when you come off of it, are you then going to go back to eating the way you did before?
You can't just keep injecting.
No, which is why when so many people would lose weight because of a diet, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I've lost 5 stone, great. And then they go back to eating and then they fucking put the weight back on, and it's this perpetual cycle. So with like Manjaro and stuff, if it allows you to drop a certain weight and then you go, fuck, I now need to change because I have to keep this particular look, great. That's then worked.
Does it suppress your appetite?
Apparently it does.
You just keep eating and you just lose weight.
No, I think it does suppress your appetite. But I've always said to people, if they are on it or whatever, just make sure you're still getting your nutrients, because you're a fucking human being at the end of the day. You still need vitamins, minerals. You still need to eat. You still need to fucking function. You know, otherwise you're just going to die because everything's just going to fail. I look great, but my liver's... I look great, but my liver's completely fucked and I've got no kidneys left. No, but you have to... That's it. But I just, I know a few people that haven't taken it. I'm just like, cool, just make sure you're still eating in a decent amount of, at least protein. At least you're not going to waste away. So,
yeah, I suppose.
But that's it. And that's it. I think some people, if they have... I don't think it should be a class for everyone, but it just seems like everyone's taking it now. I think that people should have done it the other way in terms of proper diet nutrition, but no one's got fucking time for that, or they didn't.
They can't be asked.
They can't be asked. But again, I think if they're allowed to, if it makes them lose 5 stone and then they go, right, I need to keep this 5 stone off, I now need to eat in a better way, happy days.
Jerry Springer would have been fucked, wouldn't he, if that stuff was happening? See it like every other week he had someone that had to have the wall taken out to get him. It's like, I don't want to die, Jerry. And they come in with a forklift and the fire brigade to get him out of the house.
Funny you say that. I was having this chat the other day with a mate. If I didn't go to the gym, that would be me. I'd be morbidly obese because I fucking love food. I love food and I've got a massive sweet tooth. Like, I'm obsessed with food. I just have got this kind of self-discipline that doesn't allow me to sort of go over certain things. But genuinely, if I didn't enjoy the gym or go or train, I would be fucking needing a crane.
You're not really allowed to fat shame anymore, either, are you? Because there used to be loads of TV programs like Fat Friends.
Then you had Super Size, Super Skinny.
Yeah, and then you had that Celebrity Fat Club.
Yeah, and then you had the one on Sky where the guy would just be like, "Look at these fatties."
Yeah. But Celebrity Fat Club, do you remember they had like the Sergeant Major from fucking Full Metal Jacket on there, didn't they? Harvey or something and he was like, "Get up there, you fat ass!" Like chasing him up the fucking stairs, and it was Andy Forum like running up the hill with fucking.
Was Razor Ruddock on one of them? Maybe.
Yeah, probably. He'd do anything for a couple of quid, wouldn't he?
Good point. But yeah, it was those shows, that kind of whole era of like noughties TV. I used to love Super Size, Super Skinny because when they used to put it into this is what. Fucking Kerry's eating in a week, and it would just be like all this shit, and then it would be like, well, Maria's eating this, and it'd just be like 2 gram like rice cakes and just something like that. And then when they would have to eat each other's dinner in front of them, it was the best.
I think Rick Waller. Do you remember Rick Waller? Rick Waller got kicked off of there for like ordering a fucking 18-inch deep dish pizza at like fucking. When he was like, "I'm wasting away. I've got all this." Harvey was like, "Get your fat ass off my show," which just kicked him off. But
Rick Waller and Michelle McManus.
Whatever happened to Rick Waller?
He died.
Did he?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He's from Kent.
Was he?
Google that shit. Is he? Google if Rick Waller's dead or not. Is he really dead?
I'm 100. Okay.
He's a karaoke singer from fucking
Rick Waller.
This is another thing you're not allowed to fat shame anymore. Because I remember when he released Whitney Houston, "I Would Always Love You," and Chris Moyles changed it to "I Would Always Love Food" on the Chris Moyles radio show. And Chris Moyles was a big fat guy, wasn't he? And then he just lost loads of weight all of a sudden.
No, he's alive.
He's alive?
Ah, you liar. So you wish you death on the face.
I thought he died.
No, he's worth
Fair
it.
play. How old is he?
Picture of him now?
Is he still...
Has it got his weight on there now? No, he's a bit slower than Jamie. Joe Rogan.
He's still fat.
It's good to know he is still fat.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's got purple hair and all.
He's got purple hair? You sure you're looking at the right guy?
I think so.
Did he win X Factor?
Yeah, he won, or he
Pop
comes second
Idol,
in like Pop Idol or something.
Did he? I'll tell you who's dead over there. Darius. You must have got.
Yeah. Colourblind.
Yeah.
Colourblind.
That's what that comedian was the other night, I think.
Yeah, Darius. Everyone loved a bit of Darius.
I think he was on the old gas, wasn't he? He was on the balloons or something.
Really?
Killed him, yeah.
Yeah, no, Yeah, I used to like. But that whole, as I say, that
You
whole.
used to like him, did you?
No, not in that.
Remember when he done Britney Spears?
Yeah, that's what I'm
with
saying.
a turtleneck on.
He was the best.
The ponytail.
Hit me,
And everyone was like, what the fuck is this? And for some reason he got through, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then he actually carved out a career for himself that wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that, as I say, that era of like Pop Idol, then it merged into X Factor. It was brilliant because then even on like a Saturday night, you would watch that TV and you would enjoy it. Yeah. And then it just got more and more diluted, and it just got shitter and shitter as the years
I did like it when you sort of saw like what do you call it? Like the underdog get through. Like Cher Lloyd, you said about her earlier.
Yeah.
She come on just like a skank, didn't she, from a council estate? And then she's actually like, everyone's like, fucking hell, she can actually sing. She's actually all right.
No, it was the underdogs were good, but then you then started to realise as soon as a certain music track would play, as soon as a camera edit would happen, as soon as you're like, right, well that's going to happen, and it just became very, very predictable.
You also used to know that if it was their granddad's final wish that they went on to X Factor,
I mean,
he was going to get through.
Who was that geezer's name? Oh, the Scouse one. I'm doing it for me, Nan.
I don't know.
He was Christopher Maloney. The ex Christopher Maloney.
Yeah. It's Irish, isn't it?
No, he was from Liverpool, and he basically every single week, I'm doing it for me, Nan.
Yeah, there's only so far that your
Yeah.
nan's going to take you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, who gives a shit about his nan? She's like a piss anyway.
Or
Fuck
some,
her.
like, some 15-year-old, but I've wanted to do this my whole life. You're 15.
Yeah,
what are you talking
it's
about?
always been my life wish.
Yeah,
Someone would always have like, my dad died of fucking cancer or something.
Syphilis.
Anyway, so it's syphilis. No, I don't think you'd go on saying that. You'd make it up and say it or something like that. My dad died and it was my final wish.
My dad saved, these kittens from a burning building, and I went on there and
That was what's his name? Pete, the guy from. I think his dad died. The stand-up comedian. His dad died in 9/11. Pete
Davidson.
Had all the tattoos. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. His dad died in 9/11. Yeah.
I did not
He's
know.
a fireman. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Jimmy Carr took the piss out of him on I can't remember whose roast it was. Might have been fucking Donald Trump. Something like that. Someone's roast. Yeah. But yeah. I don't know why we got to that. But yeah, getting back to, I think like Big Brother and that as well, wasn't it? It's like we all enjoy watching a narcissist. They'd always chuck some evil that they knew, and they must have known at the interviewing stage, these people, that he's going to be a complete.
I'm going to tell you a funny story. I auditioned to go on Big Brother at 4, yeah, and I got through to like the 4th or 5th round.
Okay.
And they, I was living in Spain at the time, and I flew over to audition for this show, and it was at Docklands. And you basically had to be a massive prick because they were just asking me loads of like random questions, like to get a reaction from me. They're like, "Well, why do you live in Marbella? Is your dad a villain? Like, did he rob banks? Like, is that why you moved to Spain?" Because
I think it's just lying.
And I was just because if I fucking lied and it come out, that would have been so bad.
You probably would have won.
I know, but like,
what episode was that? What one would you have been on with?
4. It was Big Brother 4. It's either 4 or 5.
That was when it was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, and there was a geezer called... One of the guys who actually got through, he got on, he used to... Even in the audition, he came with these 2 knitted teddies. And I remember him being there at the audition, and then he got on the show. So it was either Big Brother 4 or Big Brother 5, I can't remember. And I was just like, oh, these have all got to be somewhat fucking... Weird. And I was weird, and then they started asking me proper questions, and I was just like, "What the fuck are you asking me that for?" Like, no. And then because they then couldn't draw anything out of it, they were like, "We're not going to, keep you," type thing. But but yeah, it was a fun experience, that going through the auditions.
Do you remember Nasty Nick?
Yeah, that was like 2 or 3.
I think all he done was lied, didn't he, or slagged someone off behind their back. That wasn't really classed as being nasty these days, would it?
No, and then he was like writing notes and like getting people.
Oh yeah,
he was writing notes. Yeah, and he was just stirring shit up.
You're not allowed to write in Big Brother, are you? I don't think you're allowed to write notes.
I don't know what the rules are now, but it was that again was just. I would not leave the fucking house until eviction night, until someone got evicted, and I was like, right, I can go out now. Because I say, do you remember Nadia?
Yeah.
So Nadia won it.
The transsexual.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to say transsexual these days? Or?
Transgender. So she was fantastic. She was that series was the best.
I hate you.
Yeah. That series was the best because I remember it being during Euro 2004, and I'd watch like the game, whatever, then watch Big Brother, And I remember when one party it proper kicked off, and it was made the news and everything. And when Nadia won, my mates were like, because I was living in Spain, they were like, right, we're going out. I was like, yeah, I have to watch Big Brother until it finishes. Like, it was like fucking made up, like made to watch TV. You could not leave.
They all think he was in a Ladyboy.
Yeah, they thought I was fucking weird.
Nadia.
Yeah, but I was just like, no, I've committed to this show for the whole summer. I want to watch the end. And I think it was a guy called, this is like, my tism works with the most random information about fucking people. Jason was a Scottish guy, and I think he came second that year. He was quite
he
a jack
the
guy.
blonde
Yeah,
guy?
blonde.
Jacked?
Yeah.
Didn't he fucking... He like almost squared up to Nadia, and she was like, "I'm not scared of your Jason."
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Yeah, so that was a great.
Hell.
And I think in that same one there was the Welsh guy there, and it was just a great. I think there's that might have been the Makosi one as well.
Where she sucked off the Geordie one,
the
fucking hot tub.
Anthony.
Yeah, I think I was in the army then. There was a black guy in it as well, wasn't there? What was his name?
I know he was. Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking sort of remember it. It all sort of started going a bit downhill.
After that one, it got
Craig.
shit.
Do you remember Craig, the builder?
Yeah.
He was the one. He was like, "Oh, I'm doing all this for the Down syndrome girl," wasn't he? And he's like, he's a scouser, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And then he had a massive career afterwards.
Well, the house, the old Big Brother house, because so before I moved to Spain, I was living in Boreham Wood. The old house was there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I used to work in Boreham.
It was at Elstree. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
It was at Elstree Studios.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And every Friday,
They used to build it in like a field just off the A1.
Yeah. And every Friday in the studios, it used to be like people from the studios for fucking miles in its heyday. And then when whoever won and they did all the fireworks, I could see them from my my window and that. So yeah, like I've just got this thing for Big Brother. I used to fucking love it, but then it, as I say, it just got shit. And then
it went to Channel 5.
Then it went to Channel 5, and then it's on now at the moment. And I watched all of 3 seconds of it. I'm like, this is just done.
Did you not think of auditioning this time to try and like progress the comedy career a little bit? Or something?
I'll be honest, it didn't even cross my mind until you just mentioned it.
I think you fucking shit. Is it too late?
Yeah, man. Maybe next year.
Too late.
Maybe next year.
That's it.
But yeah, how are we doing then?
Doing great.
Yeah.
Doing absolutely great. You haven't been to the club yet. You haven't actually done a set here.
I haven't. No, I'll tell you why. Because sometimes Fridays I genuinely am fucked from the week. It's about an hour and 20 from me. It's not the end of the world.
Selling shampoo and that in your new job. Yeah.
So I will come back eventually, but I guess, yeah, it just depends as and when.
Well, I see you at a club like 2 minutes away the other way. Well,
Yeah, well that was great. Well, that was Great Wakering, but equally,
it's further than here from you.
no, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It fucking isn't.
You go past here to get to Great Wakering.
It's within the same distance.
Okay.
It's within the same distance, but I'll come here.
Comedy Tap's opening again as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's only doing
Hatfield.
it once a month. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll apply. But yeah,
I don't think it's applying. I don't know what she's doing now. I think she's actually like booking.
All right, we'll see.
acts. Yeah, I'm headlining in next month.
All right, fucking big shot over here.
I might get you on to 5. Can open for me.
Oh, cheers. Do you remember that one that we did that time when it was?
When I was see, that was awful, wasn't it? With Crocodile Dundee.
That was so bad.
He squared up to Raj.
Yeah.
Raj Savad, and he pulled at it. He went, "You better not mess with me." And obviously Raj is like 4 foot tall, isn't he? And he was like, "You better not mess with me." He sort of looked like if fucking Freddy Krueger and Crocodile Dundee had a baby.
Bad.
You better, and he pulled out. He went to pull out a picture of what he looked like when he was younger as a threat.
Yeah.
To like, "You better not mess with me. Look what I used to look like." To like, "Oh well, we're gonna jump in a DeLorean and go and beat me up." But he also a cheese and pickle sandwich fell out of his pocket at the same time, which I thought was fucking great.
Yeah.
But the rest of the gig went just as well as that. Fucking.
Yeah, it was fucking dire. And then we were competing with football going on, and it was just like, what the fuck? The thing is, that was one of those gigs where you're just like, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing?
Oh, I've been to so many of them, but I think they get easier.
Yeah.
I think you are you a just show up, do your set and fuck off kind of guy, or do you sort of?
Genuinely, it depends who else is on and how tired I am. That's what it comes down to. If I don't know the other people that are on and I'm tired, I will go home. And it depends how far it is.
I'm always that guy, man. I just rock up. And
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I know.
I work. I get up
this
to
is
work
it.
at 5 o'clock.
This
in
is
the
it.
morning, you know?
If you have a life and you've got and I'll get up at 5:45. So it's like no one here, it doesn't fucking matter. But there are some gigs, obviously, that are stayer gigs, and you have to stay. More so the ones in London, which, all right, whatever. But for the most part, like I said, the bunch of gigs that I've done lately is very much you can just go when you want. And again, it all depends. If there's someone that I want to see that headlines, I'll stay. Like I wanted to see Jake the other night, Jake Steers, and he headlined, so I stayed. I watched him, and we had a good catch up and stuff. But usually I'll go if need be.
Yeah, I definitely go. I've normally got 2 months of a fucking long drive back.
Yeah, because it's a trek. The miles in this game, man, is mental. It's like, yeah.
And you can't really drive into London either, can you? Like most of the gigs in London, you have to get to by tube and train and shit like that.
And what I do where I live, I'll get the train from where I live to Brent Cross, which is on the Northern Line. So it's only a 20-minute drive, and then I'll get the Northern Line in. And it kind of saves me a bit of money as well. Because otherwise, if I'm going from St Albans, it's like fucking 20 quid.
Yeah, I'm sort of in a fucking dead end here. We're sort of like we're like in a little corner. To get a train anywhere out of here, you're going into London. It's a bit of a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, and if you're doing it a couple of nights a week, it mounts up.
Yeah, I won't fucking do that shit. And not only that as well, the train's so expensive now as well, isn't it?
Precisely.
Especially when you're down to do a gig for 15 quid and a pint.
You've done your money anyway.
So they don't even cover your fucking fare.
But like I said, I'm like going for gigs in the next couple. I've got to stay over, so it's costing me money on the hotel.
Really?
Yeah,
especially I suppose if you're going like up north. And
like near Middlesbrough and shit. It's 4-hour drive. So as I say, within 2 hours, I'll come back.
What's the crowds like up north compared to down here?
Fucking brilliant.
Much better. Yeah?
Oh my god, there's so much up for it. Because the thing is, the gigs that I'll do up north, they're not just like some fucking pub or some random gaff. And if they are, they're usually packed out. Like usually, average audience is about 30, 40, sometimes even 50, like people, and it's fucking brilliant. Because you're not just going to some shitty little room
where 4 people turn up.
Yeah,
and 3 of them are comedians.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're going to a proper establishment. So I know that it will be worthwhile.
Like this?
Like Sax, come to Sax.
The Comedy Club, actually.
The Comedy Club at Sax. But yeah, it's all good. But yeah, that's it from me.
That's it from him. Okay, brilliant. Well, fucking hell, Max has wrapped up, so I'll close our better. Anyway, Max, been brilliant to see you. Where are you playing next, man?
Well, whenever this goes out, I'm going to be at the Admiral Rodney in Nottingham. Then I'm going to be at the Arc Centre in Stockton-on-Tees. And then there's just some around London.
Fuck me, he really is going up north anyway.
Yeah.
Alright, well, thanks for coming. We'll be back next week with another fucking lunatic guest off the comedy circuit. Thanks, bye.